Hi, and welcome back to the couch. It's been a while. This is the Loopin' About podcast, and I'm AK47, also known as Alicia. Welcome back to Seattle. It has been a little while. It used to be dominated by knitting and or crochet from time to time. But recently I've gotten into sewing, and I haven't been able to reconcile whether, if you guys would mind, that I go on a different direction and just show you what has been inspiring me lately, even though it's not knitting. But, I've been chatting with a few of you guys offline, and it seems that a lot of us sew. So putting a sewing segment in isn't all that wild and crazy because many of you have this hobby as well, and maybe it inspires you. And some people have said that since I've started sewing and showing you what I've been accomplishing, it's actually encouraged you guys to get back to your sewing machine. And beautiful things are being made in every direction. Whether I haven't seen garments yet, but I've seen a lot of bags and quilts. You guys this talent is endless in this group, and I'm really glad you guys have a place to share it, so I can get some joy out of what you're making too. So that's there's been a couple elements in my world that has kept me from podcasting. A couple weeks ago, I posted in the Boards and Ravelry what's been going on, and I'd rather not touch upon it here. I was just tested in my world whether I was going to let something take my joy. And it did take my joy for a while, but I've decided that I want to be happy, right? And we have to make that choice on a daily basis. What we're going to find joy in. Are we going to dwell on the negative? Are we just going to let that consume us and tear us up from the inside out, and then it show on the outside that we're not happy? So I really had to struggle with a couple things that has gone on recently. And I'm choosing to be happy. I'm choosing to be the nice person, the generous person, the gullible person, because that's me. And I don't want to lose me over things that happen out of my control, right? So, yeah, so I'm back. I'm testing the waters. I'm just going to be talking about our Knitmas and our knit along from last year. We did a whole year of garments. It just astounds me how you guys could knit along for a solid year on this one topic. Yes, there has been an extra avenue or two that I threw in there for designers that are shared with me. Yarn that I was using, the brand could be used in any which way, right? So not everything that was posted in the FO thread was a garment, because I allowed other stuff so you guys could be more creative. Or maybe you just didn't feel like doing a garment, right? And I wanted you guys to knit along, because what I'm here to do is to provide a community that knits along together. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to enable you to do anything except for knit from your yarn, whether it's in your stash now, or if you got inspired to go find a yarn that I'm using, cool. Or maybe you're showing me a yarn so I can be enabled. That's what this community is for me. We have a small group, and I really enjoy that, because it means that I can have a relationship with a lot of you guys. You are a real person to me, and we get to interact in a way that I think the larger groups can't really accomplish. So I'm glad you've come back. I'm glad you're here to stay. And let's talk about some of your knitting. You guys did outstanding in the fourth quarter. For those that knit along with me and everybody else in the group, just amazing. I went into the fourth quarter saying, hey, from the first quarter to the second quarter, there was an increase of FOs, and the third quarter was more than the first and the second put together. Let's see if we can do it in the fourth quarter. You guys were outstanding in the fourth quarter. just amazing. So I have one of the grand prizes with me. There's going to be a couple small prizes, and then this is going to be the big one. Because I think a couple of you guys in our group have actually received something like this from Kim, who is Arts Lover on Ravelry. She makes the most beautiful needle cases. Now I have a needle case. So I have the interchangeable case from Hiya. Flips open. You have a little flap that goes over. This flap does not keep it from going anywhere. So if this was not a travel case, if I left it, stationary in my house, it would be great. As soon as you put this in a bag, this flap doesn't keep your needles in. So it flips upside down. I'm holding it right now. If this flips upside down, moves around in your bag, your needles are now free to roam. That is the only thing I would say about this. It's not a travel case. It's a great case. Love it. It's got silk. It's got canvas. It's good to go. You have a little pocket up top where the little rubber guys are to tighten on your needles. You've got a back. There's zippers. I don't know why they didn't put zippers for your needles. There's a zipper in the back that holds all your cords. Beautiful. And it's purple. That totally helps, doesn't it? I have a bigger size that's turquoise. But it's not for travel. Well, Kim sent us something for the grand prize winner that is a completely contained needle case. Oh yeah, sections and all. So you have this zippered part where you access where you can put your cords. You've got the center zipper that gets to your needles. And look at, she's put numbers on all of them. So that'll close up and hold your needles. So even if this goes flying, they're still contained in this zipper part, right? And then for your other half of needles, another zippered part. And that's not all. So I'm gonna fold it back up. It's a tri-fold. There's one more zipper on top for more things. So that could be anything. You could put your phone in there. It's padded really well. It's got a beautiful motif. It says, knit to live, live to knit. And then a beautiful batik on the inside that goes very well with the outer material. So Kim, thank you so much for making this beautiful needle case. And as you can see, the variety of knits that came up in the knit along, you guys have needles of every size, shape, you name it. And I think this would be a beautiful addition to your knitting supplies. So that's one. I'm going to be making little notion pouches. So there should be 3 or 4 of those, and then the grand prize. And then I'm going to be giving away patterns for your 4th quarter knitting. So there's going to be 2 winners from the 4th quarter specifically. And then I'm going to put everybody into a hat, probably. And then have Sean choose the 5 winners from that. So that's the plan. That will be the next podcast. That'll be the real podcast that'll be coming up. This is really just to talk about Knitmas. Now, Knitmas is a knit for knit swap that we have done for 2 years now. So this is the 2nd annual. And what happens is you sign up, you discuss your likes and dislikes off of 15 questions that have already been prepared by me. And we do this Secret Santa style. Now, I would call it a Christmas swap, but I know how crazy it gets at the end of the year where you're trying to finish Christmas gifts. And really, we want to spend time enjoying what we're going to make for a fellow knitter who's already done the Christmas knitting too, right? So this is a break from Christmas knitting, but also a little gift for a knitter from a knitter. And so this year we got 14 participants. 11 people have already received their box, including me. Mine's sitting right next to me. And everybody's is in the mail except for mine. Yeah. Life just took over. We're moving in 5 weeks. We found out a little over a month ago, right after Christmas, when we came back from Christmas break, found out that our landlords are going to be selling our place at the end of our lease. And the end of our lease is the end of February. So things have gotten busy. I got a sewing machine for Christmas. I did all the sewing for this guy. This is going to be probably a huge spoiler. So there's a good chance you guys know who my partner is, because at the top of our Knitmas thread, I've posted who has received a box and from who. Whom? Yeah, whom. So there's 3 people left that are empty. One of them was my partner from last year, so you have to know that I'm not going to have the same Knitmas partner from last year. So there's only 2 possibilities that this person can be. But you guys have probably already figured it out, and packages have already been in the mail, so there's a chance by the time I've edited this that you already know who you are. So if you want to be surprised by what I've made, and I've got some hints of what I've made you, but you don't know what that's about to be, because it's far from being what it's supposed to be. But I can show you what I've been working on. Now, my ends aren't tucked, my ends are tucked in, but they're not snipped off because I haven't blocked this hard, and I'm gonna have to block it hard. I made my most favorite and cherished knit. I knit again. What? I know. I hate repeating patterns. Hate it. But, you know, it keeps circling around that this is my favorite thing to wear. And it turned out that my partner loves cowls that are doubled over. So she practically said, I really want that thing that you have, that you love, that you wear all the time. Without saying it explicitly, she told me that's what she wanted. So I complied. Because that's what you do for your Knitmas partner, right? You make some personal sacrifices, which is, I hate to knit things over again. I really hated knitting this the first time. It's so boring. It is garter stitch. It's knitting. It's all you do. Knitting the whole time. But it's beautiful. And she's gonna love it, right? So I made the Matchmaker, which is Martina Bem. It requires, the first time I made it, it required 2.2 skeins. Now I know we're supposed to use 2 skeins here. I used 2 skeins. I used 3 colors, 2 skeins. But these had less yardage than what I was working with before. So I had to make some modifications. I made lots of modifications. So I've told you that the Matchmaker is a 2-color. It could be a 2-color shawl. It was intended to use wool Misa pure. And there's a grab bag that wool Misa does, where you get a solid and you get a variegated, and that solid is in the variegated, right? So that they're paired together. Maybe it's not a grab bag. Maybe there's pairings that they do. And pure has like 150 grams of yarn in 1 skein. So you're already going to use more than, your normal 2 skeins that you would find from any other company, because they're sold in 100 grams, right? Anyway, long story short, I decided to go with 3 colors. And I went straight from her questions, right? She said she likes cowls that are doubled over. Check, right? She likes specific colors. Like, she even put mood boards up. And this is directly from a mood board of hers. So these are the colors I chose. This is my December knit. Remember, I haven't blocked, so I haven't cut those off. This is my December knit. And so this greenish blue, and it's it's a pretty good teal aqua color. This is showing really well. That is the color it is. This was Flu Powder from Loops, and it is on her Ascot base, I believe. I think it's an 80-20 blend. I think all of these are 80-20. The mauve color and this charcoal color are Pigeon Roof Studios. Now those two came in a pairing. So, and it's funny how they paired it because it wasn't 50-50, but it came up to a full skein. I think one was 55 grams and one was 45 grams. So I had less pink than charcoal. Oh, that charcoal is beautiful. And I knew as soon as Sean said my partner was who it was, that she needed this mauve and she needed the gray. And they came together when they came in the mail in a mystery box that I got years ago. And I've had them set aside and I've said, that's really not my colors. I love the gray, I love the charcoal, but I couldn't break them up. So I'm really glad that I've gotten the opportunity to keep them together because they were intended to go together, and add a third color that just sings. So I started off in the mauve because she loves pink. Unlike me, she loves pink. And then I striped in gray during the... So there's many options for me to go with. My huge intention was to use the most of the blue because the blue is going to have the exact same yardage as the gray and the pink put together. So I had to make sure that that greenish blue part was going to happen in a section that was really wide and still growing, right? So this took some mental effort to decide when things were going to show up. The pink was the smallest amount I had, so I had to start on the pink so that it would still do a good color block and would be as thick as the other color blocks. I went from pink to the bluish green, but I needed to integrate that third color, right? So this was my color scheme. It took 14 rows to go from a solid to the next solid, right? So I'm really pleased with it. So while I did that, I said, well, okay, so the next section is going to be the greenish color to the charcoal color. I'll put the pink stripes in between, hoping that I still had enough pink, right? Well, as you could tell, the next section had to go from gray to blue because that's going to be my largest section of eating up yarn. It's going to be that final long piece. So I went until I almost ran out of pink, almost ran out of gray. So those stripes are a little bit different once you get up there. And then the closing section, I still had a lot of blue, right? But right at the end, I wasn't going to make it. So I had to put in the rest of the gray and the rest of the pink. I was hoping to put a little bit of each of these into my memory blanket. That's not going to happen. I have about 2 yards, maybe 3 yards of the greenish blue left, and that's it. So I'm pleased at the yarn chicken I played, but I did have to stop the last section, the last increasing section, because I was running out of yarn. And she puts, so in her pattern, you can make it out of fingering weight, which is this, or you can make it out of DK weight. And she has it so that you could also weigh as you go, right? So at one point, I weighed my blue, and it was, I think it had to be 20% of your total amount of yardage, right? I was there. I thought I could push it and then try to figure out a fourth color to put in the last section. I didn't feel comfortable about that. So it's not as wide as it should be. So I'm going to have to block it hard. It goes over my head fine and it fits fine. But I want it to be a little bit looser of a fit for the doubling over your head. I love this cowl so much because her intention, and she has a video that goes with some of her patterns so that you can understand how to wear it, because some of them you can wear it in multiple ways. Well, this one was intended to have a V in the front, right? So it was intended to have this deep V in the front so that the zipper of your jacket has a layer between you and it, so that when wind breaks through the zipper, it's going to hit this first, right? It's going to hit your insulation before it tries to come and get you. Oh my God, I love it so much. This is my most favorite piece. I love the matchmaker. I love it, I love it, I love it. This was actually a way more interesting to knit because I added in all those extra stripes between the solid bits than mine was to knit. In my world, so that was December. December was hard. That I didn't have any mojo, and even if I had mojo, I didn't have the brain power to do anything complicated. So this was good to have on the needles for me at that time because this was therapeutic. Maybe that's what I should say. It was a very therapeutic knit. I didn't hate doing it. I really enjoyed. Even this mauve didn't really upset me all that much because they go together so well. Now, some of you would say, and it would be true, that when you do something with multiple colors, you should really go with different values of the hue level, right? All these are the same hue value. I actually would say they're pretty saturated. I would say these are dark, right? Not medium, not light, right? And then all the same value. Now, if this green was paler, it would change the look of this completely, right? So this is more of a subtle color change. It's very me, right? When you see color work from me, it's usually, oh wow, Leash, if you did a black and white of that, you would see just one value of gray. Yeah, that's me. This is so up my alley. This is very much what I like to do. Yeah, subtle color change. So I had a lot of fun with it. I hope my partner loves it. Knowing that it's my favorite piece to wear, I'm hoping that will translate to my partner too. Okay, so I've done some sewing. Oh man, this has been a busy, sewing has kept me busy. So I found a pattern. I'm pretty sure this is a pay for pattern, but I saw these. I fell in love with it. I didn't know what I was going to make with it. I just knew I needed to have it and I didn't want to forget. Right? Ravelry is amazing. I wish there was a Ravelry for sewing. Maybe I should get Sean involved in this. Because you can just cue something and then you don't have to remember it. Right? In sewing, I feel like I have to purchase it. Well, for Craftsy, it was good for a little while when Craftsy had a lot of patterns on it and you could put things as a favorited or whatever. I did that for a long time. And then, 2-3 weeks ago, they cleared out most of their patterns. Good job, Blueprint. I'm not impressed. I really miss Craftsy. Way to sell out, Craftsy. So they don't have a queue system like Ravelry does. And I tend to forget. I did get really excited about something and then I forgot what I got excited about and then I can't find the pattern ever again. Yeah. So anyway, I saw this pattern and I needed to purchase it. So because it was purchased, I had to make it. Right? The needles are the hardest part to this whole thing. I thought about not putting the needles in. Truth. Let's speak some truth. I did not enjoy the needles. I adored the yarn, so I started off with the yarn. And I kind of need to do some embellishment, like put a strand in there so that the ball is connected to the knitting. Because the knitting's on the needles. I've decided that it's not, I should have, this is what I should have done. I should have made the ball pink, and I should have put in a section for a cuff that was pink. So, because it kind of, if you're a knitter, and I know you guys are, you look at that and be like, those aren't live stitches. There's some live stitches. I think they've bound off already. So they've bound off this part already, right? And they're binding off right there. And it would come around, and then you'd finish off binding off right there. That's what I've decided. For it to work in my head. Because we all know this is not what it looks like when your sock is on live needles. But I should have thought about it. Like, before I started it on the pattern, I should have just looked at the pattern and made a plan. Because I made a plan. I colored all the pieces. Some of the paper's still in. So you can see, I colored all the pieces. So I did some planning, but I should have thought about how those needles looked in the project. And it would have been smarter if I would have made a cuff and made it look like it was being bound off. And then put the ball of yarn as pink. So, oh my gosh. I love this fabric. The fabric for the yarn ball. So those are waves. I don't know if you can see that. But I thought that was a great representation. I used it in Sean's sloth block. And it looked like a furry sloth. Long-haired, curly sloth. And so I was thinking about, well, if I used this guy as my knit up pattern, right? That's not what the yarn would look like in a skein, right? It would look like this guy, more black, some white, and all kinds of crazy, balled up. So I had a lot of fun picking the fabric for this. My partner loves pink. That's why I could use pink yarn, and that's why these socks have pink heels and toe. So excited. And then I've had letters. I've had a alphabet for a long time that I haven't used. I decided to use this. So my partner has a sock knitting machine. Are you starting to get it? Right. Sock knitting, and then you crank a sock on a sock knitting machine, right? So I'm making her a little something for her sock knitting machine, and I'm really excited. I will just keep this still a mystery, but these are the pieces that are going to go into the final project. I am so excited. I wanted to make a crunk bucket, but I think it was only funny in my head, maybe, because the past tense of crank is cranked, right? Or crunk. Okay, so only funny in my head, but that's what I was gonna say. And then I told Sean, and he didn't even giggle or chuckle or anything. So I thought, okay, then never mind. I'm not funny, but I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah. So I think I could have gotten a little bit further on this, except this is the extent of my white fabric. I still have the selvage on it, so I guess I could go into the store and say, hey, I need more of this. But I think I need to rethink the finished product of what I'm making. I'm going kind of on my own, kind of off-piste. That's why it's taken so long for me to actually do this, because part of me was, there's got to be some kind of magic ratio of what I need to, what dimension I cut, and that goes with another dimension that I have to cut. And finally, I just did a search and found somebody who did a tutorial. Yeah, because you know me, I love tutorials on YouTube. A tutorial online that said, this is what, if you're making these, which I am, here's dimensions for your small, extra small, medium, large, extra large. So I think I'm making extra large. with all the dimensions of the things what you would cut out of said, full dimension. I was so happy, and that's when I got on a roll. But then I got to here, and I said, "Oh, I won't be able to make a 20-inch square out of what I have here for 2 panels, right? So this is going to be a panel, and that's going to be a panel, and then they're going to make something together, right? I don't have enough. So, and I don't have enough pink. Like, this got a frame because the white, I thought about it just floating, right? The sock would just float white all around. It would be centered on the block. I didn't have enough white material, so I dug around, and I had the gray that I used for the needles. Yeah, so this I used for the needles in there. Didn't have enough pink. Great, because I wanted to get rid of the pink, which I did in that word, right? But then I didn't have enough to even put a baby border on this, right? A thin, skinny one, didn't have enough. So I need to figure out where I'm going to come up with more dimension. So mine's going to be late. Are you getting this yet? And so I've been postponing opening my Knitmas box, which has been here for 3 days, because I'm kind of scolding myself for not getting mine done. Seems logical, right? Like, you have a penance of some sort, because this is due on February 1st, and this does not look like a finished object. But my knitting's done, and my extras are done. I'm terrible. And I can make excuses. I have lots of excuses. But honestly, my inspiration was kind of tanked very shortly after we got our partners. So that sucked. But it's not fair to my partner, who was on time and sent to me, right? Can I say that? I hope so. So my partner was Mojave Knitter. Mojave Knitter, thank you so much. I haven't opened it yet. I've cracked open the box, but I haven't opened it yet. Very excited. So she put a spoiler picture up, and I think she did it in black and white, and she rolled it up so you can't even tell what it was. So I'm very interested to see what's in here. So yes. Shall we break into it? Now there is some. It's in a bag, so it's gonna be a little loud. I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum. The box got crushed in the mail. I don't know what happened there, but she said that there was nothing in here that would break if said corner happened. Oh, I see something purple. I'm gonna go straight for the purple wrapped thing after I read my card. Oh my goodness, it's so themed. It's themed to my favorite colors together. Oh, handmade card. Oh, so exciting. Got lots of texture in there. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hello, Alicia. My first Knitmas and I get you. Easy to zero in on proper colors given the fellow lover of purple. Hope you and your extendeds like the package. The pumpkin cupcake, this little guy, is for Malu. And so that's for my Chow Chow. Coffee is for Sean. And she says there's 2 of her favorite roasts. And that's not bad. Hold on. Oh, wow. So Crossroads, coffee and ice cream. Oh my gosh, it's an ice cream parlor that sells coffee. Or it's a brewing place that sells ice cream. Oh my goodness. Smells delicious. Oh my gosh. Is there a second one? Oh, maybe she meant it's one of her 2 favorites. Roasters and RVA. Oh my goodness. Crossroads. So look them up. And then the tea is for me. So this is Yaupon Tea by Frank Community. Get it? It's a dark roast. She says it's a blend of green and black. Ooh, I'm excited to try it. That's from Virginia. Every time I think Mojave Knitter, I think she's in California. But pretty sure she's in Virginia. I know she's told me this a million times. So yes, both of these are from Virginia. Oh my goodness. So if you're from Virginia, this is in Henrico. I know there's somebody else from Virginia in here, and that's Wrapped in Wool. Hi, Romy. Have you heard of these people? And she sent me the card that goes with it. Locally sourced, wild harvested, North America's only caffeinated plant. Caffeine without the crash. Full of antioxidants. Did you know that the U.S. imports $12 billion worth of tea each year? Wow, I did not know that. There you go. Learn a little something. Go ahead and give this a pause. Take a read. They sound like an awesome company. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, Tiffany. I really appreciate it. She says there's mini skeins that are about 20 yards each, and somehow I made a gradient mini skein set. So now I gotta find it. Maybe it's the purple thing that I went to unwrap. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, all the purples and the blues. And then that one. You did, you made a beautiful gradient set. Oh my gosh, I've been thinking, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. This could totally do it. I was thinking of making those pixelated socks. This might be a good way to do it because there's enough contrast and you can throw in the contrast of these in between the purples. Oh my goodness, look at that. That could totally work. And so I can make a pixelated sock in that order. Oh. It's beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. These are the most beautiful blues and purples. You captured my heart. Oh my gosh, you sent me the mitts? Those crazy construction mitts that you've been working on? Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. I do not have fingerless mitts. I've made a billion of them. I don't have any that are my own. Is that the way they go? That would make sense, right? It would go past your wrist. Oh my gosh, these are fabulous. And I think one of the mini skeins is leftovers from it. Oh my gosh, those fit deliciously. And the construction on these are amazing. I'm probably posting what the maker is. They are beautiful. Beautiful. Oh God, that looks like a starburst. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna leave those on. Oh my goodness. What? Because that's not what was wrapped in the picture that I mentioned before in the thread. So what? Oh my goodness. Honestly, Tiffany, you've spoiled me beyond measure. Holy frijoles. Oh my gosh, it's the favorite kind of shawl. The shallow kind that you can wrap a billion times around. Oh my Lord, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wrap it a couple times. Oh my goodness. They're a matching set. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I love it, I love it, I love it. Oh my gosh. And you powered through this. You must have been one of the first people done on this knitting project. Oh my gosh, I love it. I can still wrap some more. My goodness. I'm gonna be so warm. Okay, winter, you can come now. The cold hasn't hit Washington yet. We've had a couple iced mornings. That's it. It can come now. I'm ready. I got fingerless mitts. Do you know I've made about a dozen fingerless mitts for other people? Never made my own. Thank you so much. I can even get some climbing in. Look at this. I can get all the way deep into the holds into this one. That is so awesome. These are the perfect mitts for me. I usually make them that come up to here, right? But those aren't climbers. all my digits and all my pads are open for business with these guys. So awesome. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. You have outdone yourself, Tiffany. Just amazing. And last but not least, for my freezer, my favorite chocolate. So these are always in my freezer. I love York pepper patties. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And a thank you from Sean, who's gonna love this coffee. And then there's a final thing in here. Oh, you are so sweet. These have to be homemade. So she's made some stitch markers. Do you see the purple heart? I put the purple heart on all kinds of things. You guys are best. Picks up all the colors of my mitts. Do you see the green and the blue and the purple? It's so gorgeous. So there's 6 of those. Okay, there's 5 of those. And then she made 2 extras. It's a sewing machine. Do you see it? That's so awesome. She sent me a sewing machine. And the last one. This little skein. You are so beautiful, Tiffany. Thank you so much. And the cutest little holder. So that's gonna go in a Notions pouch, which you already know. And I ran out of tea this morning. How did you know? I don't know, but you did. So I am so excited. You guys have been so beautiful to each other for the 2nd year of doing this. I was a little trepidatious the first year because I worried. I worried that, you know, maybe you would misinterpret the rules and people wouldn't end up with things that they loved. Everything that has ever been swapped in this group has been appreciated above and beyond. I mean, if you think about it, and this was a stipulation that I put in at the start of this whole thing, we knit for people. But it's very rare that a knitter gets something knit for them. And yeah, we pour over the color and the pattern and, you know, we worry that the recipient isn't going to love it. But I think we worry about that because the recipient most of the time isn't a knitter, right? They don't understand how much time has gone into it, how much we stressed about whether the colors are perfect or would they really wear that? I know they wanted a hat, but do they want a slouchy hat? Do they like the fit? Do they want a bobble? Like, we stress about every moment of a gift. And I think for the first couple gifts I ever made for other people, I think I still stress about those things now, even though I know anything I give my mom, she's going to love and adore. Anything I give Sean, he's going to wear it till it's dead. Right? It'll be threadbare before he does anything else with it but wear it, right? So there are knit-worthy people in our lives, but I tell you, a knitter knows what you've put into it. A knitter knows how much you've stressed about, are these the perfect colors to go, right? Like, is this the purple she likes? Yeah, this is the purple I like. I love these deep, saturated colors. Like, you guys nailed it. And with every package that has been posted in the Knitmas thread, you guys nailed it. I am so stoked that you guys are just so amazing to each other. We will do this again. Even if the podcast fades away and you don't see my shining face on your screen as often as it used to be, this needs to live on. So next year, we're definitely doing this again. Thank you. Thank you for just warming my heart that this Knit for Knit swap is amazing. I started doing sewing swaps this year, and the sewing community is just so generous, and the knitting community is so generous. You guys are just beautiful people in and out, and I really appreciate you guys knitting along for each other. I know how hard it is to do obligation knitting. And I have found that this obligation to a fellow knitter, to someone we're all chatting with on threads, that some of us know each other from a retreat we see each other at every year. You guys pulled it. You guys pulled it out of a hat. I can't believe how generous you guys are. Thank you for not trying to get more out of this than you're putting in, right? Like, I feel like we're doing equal measure for just these beautiful gifts that we're giving to each other. So thank you so much for being so awesome. And if you guys have thought about doing this swap with us and you've kind of been on the fence, I'm hoping that you're encouraged by what you're seeing in the swap and how they're really staying true to your input, you know, the original post and then what they received from their likes and dislikes. I clearly, my partner read through my entry and just checked off everything. She likes really long shawls that you can wrap around. She loves color work, loves purple and blues. Like, nailed it. I said, I've made a lot of fingerless mitts, but I don't have a pair of my own. What? Yeah. So you guys are just so attentive, and I really appreciate it. And I know that your partners appreciate it too. If I'm any indication, then your partner is stoked. I've seen people just go crazy on fandoms. There's people who love Harry Potter. There's people who love Doctor Who. Just nailed it. Foodies. Fiber people who just love all kinds of fiber. You guys just are amazing. I can't say this enough. I'm just going to gush over you guys. You guys are awesome. So the next time you see me on this couch, we will have some prizes for our year-long knit-along. And you'll see what I've been up to lately. I'm going to have to dig out some of my old stuff because I haven't been on here since October. And I've finished about 25 things knitting-wise and about 4 things sewing-wise. So I have some catching up to do with you guys. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for letting me just gush on our community. Our community is amazing. You guys helped me get through this past couple months like you don't even know. The smallest things that have happened in this group have seriously been the perfect time, right? I'd receive a card in the mail and it was the perfect day to receive it, right? Or Kim was a swap of mine during a sewing swap, and I didn't know she was my sewing swap partner. And her box arrived on a perfect day, right? So our retreats happened at a perfect time. So this has been a really hard year for me, and you guys have helped me get through it. And I appreciate that, because who would have thought that an online community could be just perfect for what you need in your life? So I'm hoping that you guys are experiencing what I'm experiencing. I'm super thrilled to have you guys in my life. I am stoked that you guys are so beautiful to each other, not just me, just the whole group. And I want this to keep going. So thank you for being patient and encouraging me to come back and encouraging me to show more sewing stuff. Yeah, so I'm just gonna show you what I'm stoked on, because for a while knitting wasn't keeping me stoked. So until next time, until we knit again, bye.